What is the crack, Holly?
What's going on?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect. All good, all good. So, how has your week been?
My week's been pretty boring right now, but I got a couple things going on this upcoming week.
Why? What are you doing?
So I've got the podcast with you, and then tomorrow I've got a podcast with an ex-Scientologist named Claire, who used to work over in California.
What? Are you serious?
So, and then I've got part two
Breaking
with
out the
Chris on
cigarettes for this one.
Wednesday.
Sorry, what was that on Wednesday?
I got part two with Chris on Wednesday.
Chris, who?
The Chris that we were speaking to, Shelton.
Did he get back to you?
Yeah, he did. We did something about auditing and coercive control, so we went over a couple of technical bulletins, and then we're going to go over the training routines next time.
What did he say? Be honest. Like, what did he say about me? Because
I'd have to send you the emails because I don't have that off the top of my head right now. It's been a while since we talked about that.
because I got the listen. I don't want to say anything bad. I'm not saying anything bad about Chris, but I got the impression that he didn't like that there was somebody else like co-hosting the podcast.
No, I think it was the fact, based on what I remember, he told me that he was worried about being on a podcast where that type of content isn't really common on your channel, as well as the fact that the main person running the channel had no idea who he was to begin with.
Right. But is that not the maybe the best way to go into something? Him
I don't
just
know.
telling the story. Do you know what I mean? You see, when it comes to that, sometimes the best way to do things is to let somebody come on. I do know who Chris Shelton is, by the way. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be that silly to get him on and not know who he is. But I text him saying I have C19, and he just didn't get back to me. Like I caught C19, and I was like, mate, I apologize. Like, you're gonna have to rearrange this. And he just didn't email me back, and I was like, well, that's very nice of you, sir. To not email me back, but
Yeah. At the
look,
time, I know that he was going through his master's thesis. He was writing his master's thesis at the point, or at least just about to submit it.
yeah,
So he's been dealing with a lot. He takes a couple of days to respond back to me whenever I usually email him. But
his master's thesis in coercive control.
coercive control, yes, psychology of coercive control.
Yeah, like it's. Yeah, listen, I think we should move on by that one.
All right,
But
let's move on.
right.
Go ahead.
So, right, yeah. So, lucid dreams.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about lucid dreams?
So, all right. First off, I do want to ask. I thought the masked detective would be joining us right now.
Oh, sorry, he can't come on to about 9
All
o'clock.
right, cool. So, lucid dreaming, one of my all-time favorite subjects right now. So, lucid dreaming simply means knowing that you're dreaming while it's happening, becoming consciously aware in a dream. Kind of like a lot of people reference the Matrix
Right.
or
Right.
Inception.
Right. Well, here's one for you. Right. Here's one for you. Right. I had this dream, this reoccurring dream throughout my childhood, right up until I was about 15. Right. And I was in this, I was outside this castle with a group of people. And it got to the point where the dream happened so much where I was expecting the dream. Right. And I would actually get in to the castle part. Not at the start. I wouldn't really have control, but it was like I could control the dream, if that makes sense. Is
No,
that
it
what a lucid,
does.
is that what a lucid dream is? Like I'm actually there.
A
It's like
lucid dream is purely, are you aware that you're dreaming at the time? Lucid dreaming does not necessarily mean you also have control. Control can be a separate thing. So a lucid dream is
right.
purely, did I know I was dreaming at the time? If the answer is no, it's not a lucid dream. If the answer is yes, then it was.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. There's so many things with that, right? There's so many subcategories that goes into sort of lucid dreaming. Then, so it's like just from my own experience. I remember I had a dream as a kid, and it was this really old house, right? My uncle John's house is like more than 500 years old, and I remember waking up and I looked at the top of the wardrobe, and there was a pencil case at the top of the wardrobe, right? And as I woke up, it just rolled off the top of the wardrobe. Now, I'm not saying it was a ghost or anything, like, could have just fell off by itself. Could have been a breeze or something. But it's like, can dreams tap into something that we don't know? Is there? You hear about people who can have premonitions with dreams. You hear of people who can control dreams. You hear of people all this sort of mad stuff to do with like out of body experiences. Their dreams are sort of.
It seems that a lot. Now, I'm a skeptic when it comes to all the spirituality claims, people believing they can go into other dimensions by dreaming or whatever, because it seems like a lot of the techniques that are used for astral projecting out of body experiences are actually very similar to those trying to achieve lucid dreams.
Right. Okay.
So
So
some people, because when you're falling asleep and you're attempting to go, I'll explain this later, but we're just going to call it a wild. You're going right from a waking state into a lucid dream. You're trying to keep that awareness with you as you go.
yeah,
But
it's
in this
that's
case, you can start feeling bodily distortions. You can feel yourself maybe coming out of your body, and some people might interpret that as an out of body experience.
yeah, yeah. It's a weird one, like because you think to yourself, right? You have all these weird stories of people who like can. I know it's maybe not lucid dreaming, but they can sort of. Well, I suppose it is in a sense because they sort of they go to sleep, right? I don't know if this is bullshit, but this is what they say. They go to sleep and they can go like put their body in Australia or some mad shit and find a key where where it's in a house somewhere. Is it? Do you believe in that? Do you think that's
Sounds like
real?
you're referring to something called remote viewing.
Like astro projection or
Because
fucking
I think in my knowledge and experience, once they go to sleep and they end up in that Australia, whatever, to me, it's your brain's interpretation of Australia. Because
right?
obviously dreams happen in your head, in your brain. However they work, we don't exactly know because lucid
Yeah.
dreams have only been studied since the 60s.
Right, right. So I researched a wee bit of this about when I was researching lucid dreams. A lot of astro projection came up. A lot of spooky shit came up. But there was one article that stood out to me. Right, this was last. This was a couple of days ago since I read it. Right, and there was this guy in America. Right, who went to sleep. Not he didn't go to sleep. He put himself in like a trance. Right, and he says his soul or whatever went over to Australia, and this was all not set up, but it was like he didn't know the house in Australia, and he was able to tell the number that was on a key in Australia of a house he didn't know. Now, is that bollocks? And that was just all set up to make that look.
To me, it kind of sounds like BS, but there would have to be, I can't comment really on that. There would have to be more investigation into that in order to be able to make a definitive statement.
Yeah, I think
But
so too.
overall, it sounds like BS because there was a guy named James Randi, and he actually put out a challenge for a good chunk of his life, basically saying, if you can come to us and in a scientifically controlled environment, prove any kind of like supernatural or paranormal phenomena, anything, remote viewing, astral projection, anything like that, if you can prove it, you will win $1 million. People tried, no one succeeded.
So is that still up for grabs?
No, he died a while back. I think the
All right.
foundation that he was part of ended up pulling that challenge after he passed.
Well, they should have kept that challenge up. Do you know what I mean?
know, they really should have.
They really should have, because
Yeah, there was a TV psychic, Sylvia Brown, who kept saying that she'd take up his challenge, and she never actually did it.
Well, they found a particle, right? There's a particle that they know of, right? And I don't listen. I'm gonna butcher this, right? Because I'm an absolute moron, right? But they found a particle, right, where if you look at it, it's there, but it's also in the same place everywhere, or something like that. It's like the God particle or something.
Oh, the
call it.
Higgs boson?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that one. But
I'm not
if you
sure.
if you look at it, it's there. But if you
Yeah, the Higgs boson is called the God particle.
if you think differently, it reacts differently to how you think. Sort of.
I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look more into this in order to understand what the hell you're referring to.
But I actually thought, well, it does something weird anyway, right? Something that it shouldn't. Something that no other particle really does, right? Now, had me thinking, if we're made up of all these different types of particles and stuff, right? Then that's sort of, even though it's scientific, right? Sometimes people go, sure, that's scientific. That's not the spooky. That's not like, lucid dreaming and astral projection and all this here and controlling your dreams. But what's to say that it's these particles, right, that we've only recently discovered are actually the cause of this? And that's in its sense is like a form of fucking magic, isn't it? Like, because if there's a particle that's there and it's there at one moment, then you think differently and it changes. Like they actually say that's the way it sort of it reacts. Listen, I could be wrong about the whole ins and outs, but it changes to the way we change, and we don't even need to touch it. We just need to look at it. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's what it could be, all a collection of particles. Maybe there's scientific reasons for everything that we know: ghosts, lucid dreaming, astral projection. Maybe it is possible, but maybe it could be explained through a scientific way. What do you think about
that? Well, stuff like I said, astral projection, out of body experiences, I think are pretty much just lucid dreams interpreted in a different way, or some kind of mental hallucination.
Yeah.
When it comes to particle physics, I have no idea what the fuck to say because I don't know shit.
Well, it's quantum physics. And it sends you insane because I went down a rabbit hole of watching this stuff, and I was like, they didn't even know what they were talking about. This is the thing. They know a wee bit, but they don't know what it is, and they can just test it and get but I definitely think that to say that these things don't happen, I don't. Just think about it. Of all the people that have lived on planet Earth, right, there's bound to be one person that can do shit that nobody else can do. Think about it that way. The billions and billions of people that have lived on this planet, there's bound to be somebody that's been able to do something or control something with their head, tap into something that we can't, maybe dream something, premonitions. Like lucid dreaming, there's people that have been researching a little bit. When they dream, they get premonitions, and they actually can control the dream as it goes along in this but they can't control the outcome, and then it sort of becomes real. Is that a form of lucid dreaming?
That just sounds like dream control. If it's only if they know they're dreaming in that specific instance.
Oh yeah, they know they're dreaming.
Okay, yes, that is a form of lucid dreaming. Yes.
Yeah. They know they're dreaming. That's the thing. They know they're dreaming, and they can't help it. There's these people out there that, forget the name for it, but all they do is lucid dream. They can't do anything else but lucid dream.
There are some people with strange brain chemistries that do allow them to lucid dream a lot more often than the rest of the world.
And do you think it's down to brain chemistries and stuff?
I think it's at least a very, very big factor of it is brain chemistry, because we don't have enough answers to be able to say whether or not everybody in the world can lucid dream. There might be some people who literally just can't. There might be some people who can do it all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't have definitive answers, like I said, because it's such a new subject. We have so much more to learn about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just your view and stuff. What's your view on like religion and stuff then?
I'm an atheist.
So you're you believe in nothing. What do you believe? What happens when we die?
I can't say for certain that I can give a definitive answer as to what happens when we die. I tend to think that it's similar to how we were before we were born. We don't remember being born. It was all just blackness before that. To me, it's going to be just blackness after that, with no memory, no recollection of anything, and it's just going to be gone.
That's pretty grim, like.
It is grim, but
that's fucking grim.
It's from what I've looked at, it seems like the most realistic response, because we can't prove that. We haven't proven that a heaven exists. We haven't proven that there's an afterlife. Like, we can't observe it. We have people who have had near-death experiences, and they can tell their testimony. They can say, I saw this or I experienced that, but we don't know whether it was something they actually saw, something that they may have, that their brain may have hallucinated at the time, or if it was something that their brain made up after they woke up just to fill in the empty space.
That can happen, yeah.
So, and it's weird because it's like if you look at these near death experiences, Christians see Jesus, Muslims see Allah. They see what they know. They don't tend to see other religions' figures. So if there's a true one, why are they seeing only what they know about and not anything else?
Or the counter to that could be is, and this is my view on it, right, is that all religions are the same thing. They're just articulated differently, and they lead you down the same path if they're real, right? I'm not, by the way, like just totally neutral, right? If they're real, then they're just the same thing but articulated differently, and they'll take it. The end result will be what it is. What
some kind of afterlife, assuming.
Yeah, some type of that. But because somebody affiliates themselves with a certain religion, if they have an appearance of whatever God they have, right, and they say, I've seen this God, I've seen Muhammad, I've seen Jesus, I've seen, whatever, right, then that's because they're tapped into that. But that could be the same thing. Jesus, Muhammad could be the exact same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It could be, or it could be fucking aliens, Holly. I don't know.
We don't know.
It could, I've got it. I'm not joking you. It could be aliens. Guys, it's common. Like,
and that brings us to Heaven's Gate then.
I don't care what anybody says. Aliens, this time next year, there's going to be a threat of an alien invasion. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Do you want to know why, Holly? Right?
Sure.
I figured it out. I know it, right? We've had 2 years of absolute shit from governments, right? The biggest pile of shit. And I'm not going to mention, I can't say names, right? They've tore the population apart in this sort of chaos. They released files saying they've sort of got alien craft. The Pentagon fucking released that shit. Oh yeah, just while this is all going on here, by the way, here's a little news article saying, yeah, we've found alien craft. They said that, right?
I'd have to see the article because I have no idea what you're referring to.
It was in the New York Times, I think it was, where they said that the Pentagon says, yeah, they found they changed it from UFO to aerial something phenomenon because they want to take the sting out of it, you see. But so Commander Fravor, who commands some mad fucking flying team over in America, he was in the Navy. He would see these all the time, all these like alien ships everywhere. And I thought to myself, why is this coming out in the middle of C-19? Why did they not bring this out before or after? Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Then you have the war in Ukraine, right? And everybody, all the news stations, I'm sure it's the same in America, all the news stations don't even talk about C-19 anymore. Well, that's gone. We don't.
Well, it's the same thing every day. People are getting tired of hearing it.
Right. But it's now the war in Ukraine, right? I'm telling you now, the next fear is an alien invasion. 100%. I guarantee this time next year, they'll say that there's an alien from fucking Zog coming down and it's going to steal our skin.
Xenu's coming back to take what he got rid of.
I'm 100%. 100%. And I think a lot of people have been talking about this, and they think that Jesus was an alien, for instance, right? They think Jesus.
Some people do. People do.
They do. They actually think Jesus was an alien. Like if you look at some of the stuff that, like he was a person. Just say hypothetically speaking, this person was real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just watched Passion of the Christ the other night, Mel Gibson's version of that. Like
I've never seen it.
I watch it. Like, no, you need to watch that.
All I know is it's gruesome.
It's gruesome and it's hard hitting, and you're like, shit, I'm a Catholic now. Do you know what I mean? Guarantee you watch that movie, and I ring you up after that movie. I guarantee you're sitting there with rosary beads in your hand. Doesn't matter who you are.
I'll take you up on that challenge.
It doesn't matter who you are because it's so hard hitting. But anyway, to think that Jesus is an alien. There's a conspiracy theory out there that Jesus is an alien, and that everything he done was correct, but it was all for some alien purpose.
Or with it being with advanced technology that man didn't know about yet.
Well, that's like, yeah. It's crazy.
It seems more likely to me that would be a case, that would be a possible case than the concept of a god. It seems, because we know that the universe is so vast that the probability of there existing alien life is pretty drastic. Now, whether it's more intelligent than us, we don't know. But with the fact that there's a possibility that aliens could exist, life forms could exist on other planets, then I wouldn't be surprised if that was a possibility.
I totally believe. I'm not joking you. I believe to the point, right? I believe that they're sitting over our nuclear bases, right? They're sitting over. We're see Putin now, right? Guarantee if you look high enough, you'll see some little fucking spaceship just hovering, just looking down on him, going, "This cunt needs to be took out straight away." He's literally about to
send a death beam.
Yeah, and you'll just one, and it'll not even be reported in the news. I'm being serious, right? And all jokes aside, I definitely think that there's something. There's too much evidence. There's too much credible people that aren't in this for any gain. I know people don't like Bob Lazar.
I don't know who Bob Lazar is.
Well, where do you hear this? Right?
Okay.
Right. Bob Lazar, right, worked in. I'm going to butcher this too because I've got a shit memory. But he worked in Area 52. It wasn't
Area 51. Yep, I found the Wikipedia page. An American conspiracy theorist who claims to have been hired in the late 80s to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology at Area 51.
No, it wasn't Area 51. It was another place beside it, and this has been proven, right? Where do you hear this, Holly? This is where I'm going to change your mind to a full conspiracy theorist right now, right? So where do you hear this here, right? There's a few facts about Bob that people don't know, right? Bob's whole records of going to school were wiped clean, right? But this guy literally was a propulsion expert. He would strap rockets to the side of cars and he would shoot. He was in the newspapers for this shit, right? In the 80s. They got him to some base near Area 51. They took him to this base and he said it would be normal for him to read forms with bullshit in it. Like, this place is full of aliens. He says, literally, it says that the technology that he was working on was from a star system. And I forget the name of the star system. But he says it was normal because what they do is they would say that stuff. And then if you go out and talk about it to the press, then they could discredit you with the bullshit that they told you. So this was quite common for to be told bullshit. So he went in and he says the first thing that he came to was what he said was it was like a sphere, right? Like an egg-shaped thing. And it was just floating and he thought it was magnets. He went over to his mate, or the guy that he was working with, and the guy says, no, that's not working with magnets. That's not floating with magnets. We don't know how this works. We've had this, I think from the 1940s. While he was
can you let the dog out?
While he was in this place, he's seen ships, like spaceships and stuff on this base. And the idiot took all his friends on, like, of a nighttime to watch these things being flown about by humans. Right? Now, here's where it gets, you can say that can all be discredited, of course. Element 115, he talked about in the 80s, right? He says they were using element 115. There was an abundance of element 115 in this power source, right? They says element 115 doesn't exist in the 80s. Element 115 was added to the periodic table in 2014.
First synthesized in 2003. In December of 2015, it was recognized as one of the 4 new elements by the Joint Working Party. And on November 28th, 2016, it was officially named Moscovium.
Right. But the point being about this is that they discredited Bob Lazar, saying that element 115 didn't exist in the 80s, right? He stole some of this stuff, right? He still gets raided by the FBI to this day. the US government say that all his credentials that he got from school are fake, even though there's newspaper clippings of him going to that school. And they raid him all the time. So his story he told on the Rogan podcast is gripping. And you're looking at him and you're like, he doesn't get any financial gain from it. He doesn't, he says, if anything, it's a hindrance. It's a hindrance of him knowing. They tapped his phone. They were able to tell that his wife was cheating on him. That's why they sacked him, because his wife was cheating on him. Because they need a steady home life, so he's okay in work, because it's that much of a sensitive job. And they tapped all his phones, and then sacked him whenever found out that his wife was cheating on him. So like, you have to admit that's sketchy. Like, that's 100% sketchy. Like, are you reading that?
Oh no, I had to remind my fiance to let the dog out because he's bugging the shit out of me right now.
But that's 100% a legitimate thing that happened. Like, he still gets.
It sounds pretty freaky.
Yeah, like the man can't live. The man's whole life has been ruined, totally ruined by all this. So, would you say, listening to a story like that you could tell that there is some substance that the governments are sort of hiding things from us?
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the government was hiding shit from us.
Like, living in America, what is the sort of, do people believe that shit? Like,
oh yeah, tons of people. They believe that Area 51 or some place in the United States houses a bunch of alien artifacts that the public doesn't know about, that the government's currently trying to research.
I believe it. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if the government isn't telling us shit, because they haven't in the past. So why would it be any different now?
Plus, I definitely think that, like, the whole LSD trials that they had, and the whole lucid dreaming thing, they used to actually get people in the 70s, didn't they? That sort of say they could do all this lucid dreaming and control their dreams, or know they're in a dream, and astral project. They would collect these people and actually see if there was substance to it. So, you know, the US government and just the Western government in general, Western governments in general, have actually done research into lucid dreaming. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what the hell it was called. Give me 1 second. I know it had an operation name.
Yeah, what was the name?
It was Operation like Stargate or something. Yeah, Stargate Project in the 1970s. So it had it talked about like researching psychic phenomena and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't looked at the papers for it.
So the government took it real then, like?
The government tested it. That's what they did. They wanted to test it to see if anything was legitimate.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Like,
but Operation Project Stargate. So if you want to look that up in the future, I'll send you the name of that.
No, link it over. I listen, I'm well into that stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? I love all that stuff, but I just think, you know, with the lucid dreaming, and you're to be able to control a dream, and the fact that you can do that, you can control a dream. There's people that can control a dream. It's sort of proof that we're capable of doing things that aren't deemed normal. So if that's okay, it could be.
Most people in the world, they go through their dreams just accepting shit at face value and not being able to do anything about it. But with lucid dreaming, it takes practice. It takes a lot of time. It takes a whole lifetime to essentially master it. But yeah, no, if you want to become a legit lucid dreamer controlling your stuff, it's going to take a lot of training and practice.
So you can actually train to do this shit?
Yes, you can. And that's something I would love to talk about.
Please.
So we got the definition of lucid dreaming. It's knowing you're dreaming while you're dreaming. That's it. Control is a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just quickly say, we know that REM, rapid eye movement sleep, is where all your dreaming occurs. It doesn't occur in NREM 1, 2, or 3. So those are the only spots that you have of dreaming sleep. So people who say that they can dream for hours on end, lucid dream for hours on end, bullshit. There's going to be a lot of people out there who tell you all these crazy stories, and it's a lie. But before I go into all the training stuff, you got two types of lucid dreams. You got your wake initiated lucid dreams, which are called wilds, and you got your dream initiated lucid dreams called dialeds. Dialeds are a lot more common with people who don't really train as much or do techniques. Dialeds are when you're in a dream, you realize something is off, and then that's when you become aware. Wilds are when you go right from a waking state, you keep that awareness with you as you go down into REM sleep.
Right. So yeah. You can track your REM, right?
You can. There's a lot of different sleep charts online, but there are usually some relatively common periods of REM for people. And so if you start keeping a dream journal, keeping down a journal of when you go to bed, when you wake up during the night and all that stuff, it can help you to kind of track your sleep cycle and figure out where you lie on this chart. Because obviously an older person like in their 70s is going to have a lot more times of waking up during the night than a person who's in their 20s.
Yeah.
But by keeping these records, you can actually start to figure out when the best time to attempt a lucid dream is possible. So usually it's around after 4 to 5 hours of sleep, because that's where the most REM happens. Now there is a good period about usually 2.5 hours in for a younger person where you get a good 20 to 30 minutes of REM, which is also a really good time to attempt it, as long as you can get in the right. You can get your alarm correct, because I've had this problem before when doing this method where you wake up 2.5 hours into your sleep cycle. I wake up. The goal is to wake up from NREM 2, non-REM 2. If you have your alarm set too early, you may end up waking up in non-REM 3. Non-REM 3 is where you wake up, you're going to feel like you've been hit by a car. You're going to feel groggy. You're pretty much not going to remember anything you did. So they want you in NREM 2. So you can, and then they want you up for about 10 to 15 minutes, just doing something to stimulate your brain. So your brain is now stimulated when you go back to sleep. So it helps to up the likelihood of you realizing what's going on.
So if you're wakened in this state,
which state?
The REM 2.
Okay. Yep. And REM 2.
And right. So if you're awakened in this state, you can still be in that dream, possibly.
What do you mean?
Like if you're awakened in this state, what will that do then?
NREM 2 tends to be your kind of like your. I gotta think of how to describe this. NREM 1 is like someone just dozing off. Like if you're sitting on the couch watching TV and you start kind of passing out, that's NREM 1. NREM 2 is full sleep, full unconscious sleep. But if you wake up, you might be tired, but you're not going to be as tired as you're going to be in NREM 3. It's a little more alert, and you're able to kind of get your brain going a little easier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I know. I understand that. It's as you get older, you remember your dreams less. But whenever you do have a dream, it's really, really like it really impacts you. It's like it means something. Do you know what I mean? You're like I'm 34 now. It's very rarely I can remember a dream. Is there a reason for that? Why people can like? Do you dream a lot?
I do. I dream every night.
Seriously?
If you want, I can go grab my dream journal right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Cool.
Wake up, crack on off, go back to sleep. Lucid dreaming. Foot golf. I'm glad you like our guest, by the way. I done Holly's trans story. If you want to check that out, Foot Golf.
So, part of, if you want to become a lucid dreamer, part of that, one of the most important part of it is keeping a dream journal, keeping a record of your dreams, of your sleep times, of your waking times, because as you get more dreams, you can start recognizing common dream signs. And if you recognize common dream signs, you can start realizing when you're dreaming, because if you see that, like if you see, I don't know, if your dream sign is a tidal wave,
yeah,
and you start getting to understand that, if you see a tidal wave in your dream, you're going to be like, hold up, something's going on. You start becoming lucid more often.
Right. So this is actually sort of training. I don't know what this part. Nazarite.
Yeah, Nazarite's just been spitting out Bible verses.
I want to read this though. Let's give Nazarite.
All right, so let's see this. Acts 2:17, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? I think there was a bunch of stuff going on before too, because he was spouting off Luke 23, Luke 16:23, 16:26. It was when we were talking about the afterlife, so he was talking about Bible stuff.
Yeah.
But I also have an online dream journal that I kept for a little while. So if I go to, what is it? explorephoenixdreams.wordpress.com. You can actually go in there and see my online dream journal. You can actually see what I've been kind of doing. I think it was from about May of last year to November of last year.
Kelly has a bit of a story there. I want to put it.
What you got?
Up.
You can be attacked by spirits in your dreams. It's, to me, it's your brain's representation of spirits.
Yeah, but what happens if, like, yeah. Listen, I've just seen so much shit. It's like there has to be. I get what you're saying. Like, it's all like chemicals and whatever. It's their brain, right? It's just the brain. The brain's a wonderful thing. The brain's more. The thing about it is, people actually dumb it down, don't they? And it's dumbing the whole situation down by saying it's like demons and shit. Because the brain itself is actually more complex than that, and that's what I think people need to realize.
The brain has more. Brain cells have more connections. You have more total brain cell connections in your brain than the universe. Than the known universe has stars.
What?
That's how complex your brain is. You have more neural connections between the cells in your brain than the universe has stars that we know of. That's why it's so hard to understand, because there are so many things going on.
That's pretty fucked up, isn't it? Like, if you think about that shit, like, there's a lot of stars. Like, there's like an infinity a number of stars. Like, they're saying the universe.
Yeah, it's as in the known universe right now, the ones that we are aware of, or however many we can count or estimate. We have more brain cell connections than that.
In our galaxy, our universe.
In our known full universe, as of what we know of as of right now.
Fuck, I can't even think about that shit.
It's such an astronomically high number that.
Well, no wonder we're so fucked up then.
Our brains are super fucking complex.
No, but think about it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fucked up people on YouTube, Holly. I know you're not in the circles of this mad shit, but there's a lot of fucked up people on YouTube, and just you saying that explains everything. Because it means that there could be an infinity number of fucking dickheads. Do you know what I mean? And me being one of them. But yeah, that's mental. That's mental. I just think though, dumbing it down. By the way, I'm not saying religion is dumbing things down, right? Because I'm sure. Listen, we don't know the truth. You're sitting saying here as an atheist, you don't know the truth. Do you know what I mean? Listen, we could die, and then next minute the fucking blackness goes down, lightness comes up, and then it just says level 2. Do you know what I mean? And then we're back into the fucking game again by some mad shit. I would be more inclined to go down the reincarnation route, because I heard of a few stories, right, of kids that are talking about past lives and talking about like things that only another individual would know. But this child has, like, from all around the world, like a soldier that died. Birthmarks is a big one too. If somebody will die and they'll be born with a birthmark of a loved one or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's very hard to explain. Like doctors can't explain that. It's a birthmark. It's a mark on the skin. Like me and my son share the same birthmark. Okay, that could be genetics. I'm not saying there's genetic reasons for that, but you can't explain the ones got to do with children not being related to other adults around the world that tell the stories of other adults that have died. That is creepy, and that has happened. Like there is stories of that. What do you think about that?
I
Do you think?
I
Do you
think
think?
it just I think it needs more research because
Do you
there's
think?
so few cases that
Yeah.
we can't say for sure.
But do you think because there is just so few cases that that it's a very rare thing, and because as you say, you've just said it yourself, the brain has more connections than the known universe. So for that reason, we don't know what the fuck's going on. So these things could be explained. Do you know what I mean? Of like reincarnation could be explained through genetics.
Don't know.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's the same as lucid dreaming. Like, you know what I mean? The lucid dream. I'm gonna really try and actually dive into this whole lucid dreaming thing because
I have a great resource for you to start.
yeah, and I want to hear some of your dreams, by the way.
All right, cool. I'll load up my blog. So again, that is Explore Phoenix Dreams, Phoenix Phoenix dreams.wordpress.com. So if I go to, where is my search bar? Did they like change the whole fucking thing now? Son of a bitch. Posts, here we go. There's the search bar. So if I type in.
Just to say, Kelly says, I remember years ago I was put on pre-GABs for depression. Worst tablets ever for bad dreams. Couldn't wait to wake up. Everyone else swears by them. Medication in dreams. That's another one too, because you're messing with the brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
You're messing with the chemistry of the brain, which can then cause really bad dreams. That is true. Sorry to hear that, Kelly.
Let me see.
There's Nick. What's the crack, Nick?
What's going on, Nick?
Soulway. What's the crack, Soulway?
Carrie King. Hey.
Carrie. Do you remember Carrie from the last time?
Not at all. I'll be honest, I don't remember half of these people because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys are all watching. Thank you so much. But all right, so let's see if I can find. Is that shit? My posts are messed up. I'm trying to find one where I was actually lucid. All right. Well, either way, like I said, another part of becoming a lucid dreamer is performing what are called reality checks. Now, it's going to make, if you do this in public, you're going to look a little crazy, but there's a purpose to this. So reality checks are something you perform in your waking life to get a more aware mindset, to keep a more aware mindset, conscious, skeptical of the world around you. And if you can keep that, if you can train that mindset, it'll pass over into your dreams. Because if you can't be lucid in your day-to-day life, how the hell do you expect to be lucid in your dreams? Because when you're dreaming, it's like you drank half a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, I'm fucked then, because I'm never lucid at any stage of my life, like.
But you could be.
Right. Okay.
So, a common reality check exercise is looking at your surroundings and asking yourself a few questions, such as, do I remember getting here? How did I get here? Where did I come from? And have the events of the day up to this point been a smooth transition? Have there been any choppy parts? Because in dreams, it's a lot of the times you'll go from one place, all of a sudden you'll be in another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's true,
asking those questions and kind of interrogating yourself is a way to keep that skeptical mindset, but there are actually actions you can do. So one is looking at your hand, because I've looked at my hand quite a few times and making sure you have 5 fingers, because that's a very common problem in dreams. Your hands seem to be incredibly unstable. I've looked at my hand in dreams, and I've had 4 fingers. I've had 6 fingers. In my most recent one, I've had 9. One time, one of them was a combination lock.
Hold on. Are you a lucid dreamer?
I am. I'm working on it. I'm learning. I'm still a beginner, but I'm trying. So
atheist Holly, who doesn't believe in anything else, lucid dreams. There you go.
Lucid dreaming is all part of the mind. Wow. It has nothing to do with God, nothing to do with the spirit. It's all your brain chemistry.
But that is crazy. So you look at your hand. Try to look at your hand in a dream.
Yeah, there are times where it's been blurry. I could never focus on it clearly. And another common one for me is, so I'll have my hand up and I'll be looking at it and some fingers will be shortened by about half their length.
What is that? What is there a reason for that? Is it just the
I don't
brain?
know. Just dream instability. And that actually goes with another thing. Looking at digital clocks or any kind of text in a dream. Text in dreams is incredibly unstable as well. So you could look at a sign that said, "Welcome home." That's another reality check. You're in the waking world. Look at some text. Look away, and say to yourself, tell yourself that the text will change, and look back at it, because that's happened in dreams before. I looked at a sign. It said, "Welcome home." I looked away, and then I look back, and it shows a math equation. Text changes frequently.
I'm too stupid for this shit. Do you know what I mean? My dreams consist of dinosaurs and me falling off cliffs.
Those could be dream signs. If you're having recurring dreams about dinosaurs and falling off cliffs, then if you ever run into those, run into any information about them or stuff like that, you can use that to say, "Hey, I might be dreaming. It's time for me to do a reality check."
Wow.
So if you're researching dinosaurs, you can say, "All right, hold up," and then just look at your hand for a couple of seconds, or read some text and see if it changes if you look back at it.
How do you know I'm not dreaming now?
Give me a second. So you got the hand test, you've got the text test, and the most reliable one for me. So yeah, so look at some text, read it, look away, say it's going to change, and then look back at it.
Can I hold it in my hand?
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Benson and Hedges. It's going to change to Lambert and Butler. No, it's still Benson and Hedges, not dreaming.
And then the most reliable one is holding your nose and attempting to breathe through it. Because when you're in a dream, you're holding a dream nose closed with a dream hand. You are not blocking your actual supply of air. So when you plug your nose in real life, you're going, can't breathe through it. But when you hold your nose in a dream and you breathe through it, you're going to feel that air flowing through still.
Guarantee I have some fucked up dream tonight. What do you say?
I wouldn't be surprised. Dream seed. That's what that's called. Dream seeds are things that could potentially affect your dreams in the near future.
This is no joke, right? I do have reoccurring dreams, but I haven't really dreamt properly. I can't remember dreams. I know everybody dreams every night, but the last dream I can remember, I can't tell you when it was. Could have been 2 weeks ago. Could have been 10 years ago. I was on a dinosaur, right? And they were all around the house that I used to live. And it was like I don't know, one of those fucking big long neck ones, you know, the
Brontosaurus, yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I was on the back of one. But it was a mini one, but it still had the same size of neck. And then I fell off it and I rolled off it onto a stone wall and then rolled onto the ground and then scrambled. But I was that much of an idiot, I ran off the edge of a cliff. And just as it hit the bottom, it was a cliff, but it was no water or fuck all. I just woke up. What the fuck's going on here? Wow, that's crazy.
And that brings me to another point that I've experienced several times called false awakenings.
Right.
It's so you'll be in a dream, you'll wake up, you'll find yourself in your bed. You may start going about your day. You may start showering, doing what you're doing. All of a sudden, you wake up in your bed again.
Fuck, that's happened to me.
You can dream about waking up.
That's happened to me.
So that's another thing. It's whenever you wake up in the morning, do a reality check immediately, because you could be in a false awakening.
Or if you can control dreams and you know you're in a dream, I don't know, just imagine yourself in a fucking, I don't know, a penthouse with that's amazing. Like that's literally the Matrix. You've proved
the Matrix.
You've proved the Matrix. This is 100% true. You've proved, because that's what it is. Because, right, so if I said to you right now, right, Holly, you could spend the rest of your life in a dream, but it's anything that you choose, right? You'll just be lying on a bed, fuck it, right? Just a bit of meat lying there, right? But you'll be in a dream, and it'll be something, a life that you want to live. Maybe you're happy with your own life now, I don't know, right? Would you take that?
I feel like this would last for the rest of my physical life, correct?
You would never know. You're in this body dreaming, and it's whatever the fuck you want.
I think that the idea of having that power would get boring after a while. Because you would never need to work for anything. You would never need to want for anything because you could just have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Honestly, I don't know
What we
about
got
that
going
one.
on the side here? Oh,
It's the master
it's him.
detector.
Hey, what's going on, dude?
I don't know if you can hear.
I don't know either. It looks like he's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm good. How are you lot?
All good, mate. What's the crack? We're talking about mad shit here. So have you heard us up to this point?
Not really, no.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. You
we've
covered.
just been going over some basic information about lucid dreams, the types that there are, wake initiated and dream initiated. We've talked about dream journaling and reality checks. So ways to realize you're dreaming and things you can do to keep track of them. And we've gone over some stuff about the afterlife in the beginning. So we got some spammer blasting out freaking Bible verses in the comments. But yeah, that's mainly what we've been discussing right now.
All right. So what do you what should you start on? I mean, I don't want to take it right back to the beginning.
No, mate, listen, right, so we talked about everything, right? And it was actually me talking a lot of shite and Holly talking a lot of sense. But so lucid, right? So we talked about lucid dreaming, right? And we talked a bit about astral projection. Now, do you, Master Detective, do you believe in astral projection? You're breaking up there a bit, mate.
Yeah, I do.
You're right,
Okay.
It does. Why do you believe in astral projection?
Well, look,
he's astral
when you
projected
realise
to us.
that you got to be careful, because look, everything's energy, right? That is what religion calls God, right? But they anthropomorphize, they nicked it off the ancient Egyptians and what they call pagans, and they just put certain figures. Is my mic still working? Yeah, because the screen's got
your mic is working, but your camera is literally just yellow. Occasionally, it keeps switching between like a frozen
internet
scene and yellow. So I think it might be better to just go to the mic and no cam, because it looks like it's breaking up a lot.
It's not your internet. Apparently, StreamYard's been doing this today.
Oh, is it?
With some people.
I'm talking clear now, yeah?
Yeah, no, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah,
cool. The picture is the only thing that's wonky.
Yeah, so that's basically how it is. Look, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to know secrets of the universe, you gotta seek energy, frequency, and vibration. He also said 369. If you go into numerology and look at 369, and then you understand how everything is put into reality or into matter through the different vibration and frequency. That's all it is. So we are energy. The only thing, energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, and it can be manipulated. And this is what's happening on the earth. Everyone, like the occult and all that, they know this. That's why they manipulate people's energies and all that kind of stuff into their own, with their fear and all this shit, to keep us on low vibrations. They don't want us to know that we are actually spiritual beings having a human experience.
Right. Okay.
This is just a random question I'm going to shoot out there. Mass Detective, what's your opinion on the law of attraction?
The law of attraction.
If you've ever heard of it.
Look,
if you've ever heard of it.
All this writing it down and wishing, and look, the law of attraction comes when you vibrate or you're at a certain frequency as what you want. So, like, if you live your life like a millionaire, or the sort of consciousness, the vibrating at that certain frequency of being a millionaire, eventually you will be a millionaire. But the point is how do you get there? The point how you get there is actually to seek within yourself to know who is actually running the physical body, because that's what you are. The moment you get an identity and you're named Ronan, Holly, Matthew, it takes you away from your essence.
Right, but there's a lot of, like, for instance, there's a lot of people that work on the law of attraction, and I don't go near any of that shit. Do you know what I mean? To be honest with you,
neither do I.
But the law of attraction to me is like, there's some people out there that just have this thing in them where, for instance, let's talk about him, Conor McGregor. Everybody knows who Conor McGregor is, and he's some little, leprechaun from Dublin. Do you know what I mean? But that's basically what the law of attraction is. But if you actually see what he does, he just basically talks shit about everybody, and he acts like a moron. So the law of attraction could be, maybe there's different forms. There's different forms, because people have to be attracted to watch you. They have to be attracted to click subscribe and all that shit. So, for me, if you look at what the law of attraction actually is, the base of it, right? And I haven't read any of that book, or I haven't read anything that anybody's ever talked about this. It's actually negativity, because the world is bred on pure negativity. If you look at the current climate on YouTube, everybody's attracted to the most negative channel, and because that will draw you to that, and it's people themselves are drawn to negative shit. That's why drama. That's why we have dramas. We call them dramas. Do you know what I mean? Dramas, and do you know what I mean? And things like that. But it's that's what it is. That's what I believe it is if you have a very positive person, that can be attractive too, but it's not as attractive as a deep, dark soul that you can watch every day and get your little hit of negativity. To me, that's what the law of attraction is. Do you know what I mean? If you look at all the people out there that are quite, so is Tony Robbins, isn't it? He's a wee bit different. He's actually quite positive, and he's
a motivational speaker, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a motivational speaker, but he actually, some of the stuff that he talks about, you can actually use in real life. Do you know what I mean? He's not like, what do you call that other guy? London Real, where it's just a scam. Have you ever heard about London Real? London Real is just a scam, like, do you know what I mean? But he's not negative either. But it's all about getting one over on each other and being the most negative and talking shit.
The trouble is, when you can attract anything, yeah? It's what you're going to do with it. So if we're all conscious beings, right? We're all conscious of actually being alive. So we have something in us which we call energy that's controlling this physical vehicle, yeah? Called a vessel, called a body. Because we're not just the meat and bones, but what society wants you to, what you've been programmed to believe is that's all you is. That's all you are. So now you've become materialists. Holding on to material objects, including your body, has an effect on the time that you die. Hence why you can be tricked, and hence why I say, when you see that tunnel of light, don't go towards it. It's a trick. It's a trap to come back into the earth again. That's a whole different subject anyway, that.
What would you say to that, Holly?
I'd need to hear that again, because I don't know. I would need to hear that again. So basically, from what I'm gathering, if I have this correct, and if I don't, please correct me.
Oh, I will.
That our bodies are not, that we, I'm trying to think how to describe this. Our bodies are like vehicles. It matters what is inside driving said vehicle.
Yeah. It's the exact.
Sorry. No, I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
So we're not like, how you see Ronan and how you see yourself is not you. That's what society, so the programmers have put on you. They've put on you an identity to make you believe that you're the body. Because the moment you start realizing who you truly are, is only then will you get your power of being a spiritual being.
That just reminds me of what Scientology promises you when you become an operating Thetan.
So can you disprove what's operating this body?
Well, in order to disprove something, there would have to be something that had been proven.
Exactly. So if, what I'm saying is do you what's your theory of the spirit? Do you believe we've all got spirits? Like, do you believe
Like I told Ronan earlier, I was a Roman Catholic for 16 years. I believed in spirits. I believed in the soul. I believed in a God. But after leaving Roman Catholicism and religion, I have tended to sway away from the belief that we have a spirit.
right? So if you don't have a spirit, where does your consciousness?
Sorry, you're breaking up a lot. I can't hear anything you're saying right now.
Yeah, I think I just took off the. It's not the internet, like it's not the internet, but it's definitely StreamYard's been doing this.
Well, it depends. Does he usually film outside? Because I'm not sure if maybe he's on
No,
Wi-Fi
that's
outside or data or.
no. That's his background. He's not. He's in his.
Oh, okay. I was like.
He's in his kitchen. You can put a background in this if you want. So the master, see, yous come from the two separate ends of this, right? And this is why I want, and yous are both quite, both of yous have got strong opinions on it, and it's good to hear your opinion and plus the master detective's opinion in this, because he not that he's a spiritual person, I don't want to speak for him, but like he believes that this is you can explain it. You can explain it.
Yeah. So no, what I was saying is how you have a conscious, yeah.
Yes, we are conscious beings.
Right. What is the actual conscious? Is there an explanation that you can say a consciousness is?
No, I cannot. I am not a neuroscientist. I do not understand how the brain functions. I do not understand the neural connections that we have.
What I'm saying is it's actually separate from the brain. It's actually separate from the mind.
How did we figure that out?
Do you believe in ghosts?
I have yet to see good evidence for ghosts. I'm open to anything, but I do not believe as of right now.
Okay. So you don't believe in ghosts, you don't believe in a spirit. Where does love and where do you think love and compassion and like the positive and negative comes from? Of just the thinking of the earth.
We're talking about like human emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Where do you like? Is there an explanation where that comes from?
I think it comes from our genetic ancestors. I think that over the period of millions of years, we have developed empathy and compassion because we all want to see each other. We want to survive, and in order to survive, we need other people to survive, and
so you say
society to function properly. So we want to keep. Sorry for cutting you off, but we want to keep society going as best as possible. So our human empathy and compassion comes from not wanting to see society crumble.
So you would say it comes from genetics?
I would say genetics is definitely a big part of it. Yeah.
Okay. So if we go into genetics, if we go into genetics and we go down to the atom, in fact, go further than the atom, go into neutrinos.
Okay.
You'll find that as far as you can go back, you end up with 99.9999% empty space.
Yeah.
So what is that empty space?
The empty space is that's what it is. It's the empty space around the atom and the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons.
No, not around the atom. If you look into an atom, it's mainly empty space. It's
so you're in the nucleus.
So past that.
You're in, say, a proton.
You can go further than the quartz. Like you can go to quartz, you can go to neutrinos, you can even go further than that. But what you'll find is that the very essence is behind the material that keeps. You got to understand, when you look at an atom, it's kept together by something, isn't it?
As of right now, yeah. We know about elementary particles such as bosons, neutrinos, electrons, and leptons, quarks, gauge bosons and scalar bosons.
You see, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Right, this is where I sort of disagree with Carrie a bit, right? Because Carrie's she's Scottish and she's straight to the point. Like, we are animals, we die and we become dust. That's pretty fucking grim, isn't it? Like,
It is great. But I mean, is it not similar to what I said earlier?
There's no way, shape, or form that we are just animals. Something has, in my opinion, right? I talk shit, but in my opinion, right, something either has tampered with us to become this sophisticated in who we are today, or we are different, or we're not from here. In my opinion, look at all. There has to be, like, you don't go from 0 to 100. Yet there's something in between. Do you know what I mean? So a dolphin is like the closest, most intelligent thing to us, but even they're fucking stupid compared to us. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying dolphins are stupid, but you know what I mean? They're swimming in the fucking ocean. Like, do you know what I mean? I understand that people say, well, you're looking at that from a materialistic point of view, but realistically, what we've created, this society that we've created, is something's went on, something's happened, whether that may be a religious thing or a fucking alien thing. Something has happened for us to become, like, think about it. So 12 million years ago, we'll come down from the trees. 6 million years ago, we'll start learning how to fucking throw rocks at animals. 3 million years ago, we'll start, I don't know, learning how to use tools. Right up until this point, it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. It just doesn't make sense. Does that make any sense?
Sorry, hang on one second. What was
to
that?
be honest with you, in spiritual terms,
425. Yeah,
consciousness is everything. Even at the very basic level, everything is made from energy, including the dust, which is a non-physical force. That is everything and everywhere. See, how can you describe anything that's absolute?
But if we're all made right,
describe something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? I totally get what you're saying, but I'm talking about the consciousness that we have, right? So the whole human consciousness on the planet. If you think about it, right? If we're all made up of the same atoms and everything, well, what makes humans different? Why are we not just animalistic? Why are we here? What is this sort of reality that we live in? Do you know what I mean?
So you're asking, like, why we're the dominant species?
Not just why are we the dominant species. We're far beyond the dominant species. We're so far beyond the dominant species that we've basically made the planet a home, like an actual house. I know that seems crazy, that seems silly, but there's what we've done. If we're the only thing and there's nothing else out there, well, that's goes by 1 in a trillion chance. It's just impossible that, in my opinion, that we've got to this stage without any help.
So you're referring to probabilities? Like, you're saying that the probability of us existing is so low that, well, who's to say that, granted, say it may be a 1 in a trillion chance, but who's to say that we aren't that 1 in a trillion? Who's to say that there haven't already been 999 billion before us and that we are the ones that finally succeeded?
Well, we're going by the mainstream theory of the Big Bang. That doesn't if you think about it, right? And you think about even the fact, the whole topic of discussion, lucid dreaming. It's I think it's actually silly to think that we haven't got to this point without some type of help, whether it be religious, alien, or whatnot. I don't know, but I think, do you know what I mean? Just in my opinion, but listen, it is what it is.
There's loads of help out there. Loads of help. Religious, philosophy, it's all there. But the trouble is, people don't want to use their brains, so they fall into cults and religion because they want to follow someone else's blueprint. No one wants to seek within. The first thing you have to seek is within your own self. You can get that through meditation. You can get it through many aspects, even just researching and wanting to actually find the truth.
Yeah, you can learn tons about yourself.
It's the same, like everything in the physical universe has some mass greater than 0. And it is necessary, like a necessary characteristics for existence in the material world. Light has no mass at all. So as you approach the speed of light, mass increases. At the speed of light, mass is infinite. So science has now revealed the nature of what we call God, which is energy or photon. Yeah, you got to think about it. You've got energy, got chi, inner chi, or inner G. It's all etymology of words, and they fucked around with all the words.
I was about to say you're just using wordplay here.
Sorry?
You're just using wordplay to connect energy and inner chi.
No. What you've done, you've selectively taken out what I've just said. What I said to you before is what controls the body, and what
I can't say what controls the body. The only thing that we know about controlling the body is electrical impulses
like
through the
your
brain and the nervous system.
Your empathy, your negativity, your anger, your love. Where does all that come from?
We know that love and other human emotions literally stem from brain chemicals and processes in the brain. We get love, we get serotonin, oxytocin.
Okay. So all that kind of stuff, if you break all that down, you can start looking into atoms.
Mm-hmm. Atoms themselves don't possess those abilities, but it's when they come together into these compounds and substances that
how do they come together?
Chemical bonds.
That's true. No, listen, this is the thing, right? It's what the mass detective's saying and what Holly's saying here, right? Right. There's something to this, right? But what I'm trying to say is, right, the chemical bonds, right, makes up the dolphin, makes up everything. Why are we different?
We just happen to go down a different evolutionary line.
But why is there nothing? Why is there not like a lower hominid, right? A lower version of us, right?
There were. They died out.
They died out, but the Neanderthal was one of them, right? But why is it today that there's just one? Doesn't make sense. It really. I know people will say, "Well, sure, there's ape. There's still chimpanzees and there's still gorillas." Okay, right? But why is there just us today? It doesn't make sense.
So you're asking why there's just Homo sapiens?
Why? Well, why is there just Why is there just Homo sapiens? I know that there was other forms of hominids. I get that. I understand that. But why is it just us today? It does not. None of this makes sense. None of it. But even science. You know, I'm not going down the spooky route here, even though I have a little bit. But for me, in my opinion, that for these, why did we not just form into another form of a dolphin? Do you know what I mean? Why are we not just apes? It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. And to say that, I know what both of you are saying there, but to say that that it's, we are just intelligent animals doesn't mean we're not animals. Yes, we're closely related to these, but something happened, right, that made us different. So different, vastly different. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the answer that people want. Do you know what I mean? You talk about chemical compounds, you can talk about combinations, you can talk about the lineage of the human from 12 million years ago to right now. But something happened in there, right? Stoned ape theory.
So what I'm saying is if you believe in, do you believe in energy?
I believe in, I believe in different forms of energy. You're talking like kinetic energy, heat energy, all the types of energy that science has figured out.
Yeah. No, that's energy at different vibrations.
Is it different vibrations or is it just different forms? Yeah. How do we know it's vibrations that
are
causing?
There's only one
that brings in the whole string theory argument.
There's only one energy.
Yeah, there's energy in everything. From different form to different
So would you say that there's energy in everything? Doesn't matter what type of energy, there's energy in everything, yeah?
Yes.
That is what consciousness, that is what religion calls God.
Well, the thing is, back with religion in like the early, back in like the Bible days, or 2,000, 3,000 years ago, they didn't know what energy was. They just considered it God. They just believed that there's a higher power that controls the world because they didn't have the understanding of the world that we have today.
They called that consciousness. It's energy is a scientific term, quantum theory. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that is what is called consciousness. That is what the spiritualists, the occultists, they all knew this. Hence why they use a lot of energy today with our fears and emotions in order to control us. Because the moment we wake up to our true power, we'll stop giving our power over.
The question is, can you give an example of this power and how to get to it?
Like
People say
what the ancient Egyptians taught. The ancient Egyptians taught know thyself. I don't know if you like not to know the physical, like when you have a dream, yeah. When you have a dream and you're in your dream and you're floating around or doing whatever in your dream, like you was talking about lucid dreams. What is that process? That is your consciousness.
It's you becoming consciously aware in your dream.
There you go. So we got consciousness, and that is what science calls energy, and energy is everything. So that means
we have
are
definitions
all
for
what religion
consciousness
calls.
and we have definitions for energy. Those are two separate definitions. One does not equal the other.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, they literally. If I look up the definition of consciousness, we get
this is
the state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings.
But this is,
and
this is what I'm saying. But when you look it up, like you have to look in every single area. You have to look in every single area. Consciousness is all there is. Call it a universal consciousness. Call it a cosmic consciousness. It's just another form of what science calls today energy, and religion calls it God.
See, you're coming from the two ends of the spectrum, but I'm still thinking to myself, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I'm still thinking to myself that there's a reason why we have this form of a consciousness. There is a reason for it, regardless if it's scientific or if it's spiritual or whatnot, right? There is a reason why we have this consciousness. You know.
See, that's the same with cats, dogs, ants, things like that. They all have a consciousness. Mm-hmm. It's just that not on the level. I'm not saying not on the level, but maybe our bodies are designed in a different way where we can speak, where we can, do things that a dolphin can't do. But then hold on, a dolphin can do what we can't.
Yeah, they have specific functions that humans don't. We have specific functions that they don't.
But my counter to that would be they have specific functions, but we can build a device that could maybe
to replicate that.
That's the human consciousness. The human consciousness is the imagination that we have. Without imagination, we wouldn't have this house. That's the key. The imagination is the key. I know what you're saying, that there was other hominids and things like that. But believe it or not, right? The human lineage isn't that straight line. It's more like a bush, and I've talked about this before. It's like a bush of all different interconnecting things and breeding and different things, and then we've came to here. But is this the pinnacle? Is this the pinnacle of what we are? I don't know, but I definitely think that there's a reason for our consciousness. Sorry, Master Detective, but the imagination, the imagination that we have is so vastly different from anything else that was before us and is here now. It's just too much of a coincidence for that to be just solely evolution.
Well, the thing is, our imagination. Sorry.
No, go.
All right. So I was going to say, well, it seems like our imagination in that case comes from us developing different tools and technologies and then building off of those. Like you built the wheel, you built fire. Now, from that, we have the imagination of building portable fire, torches. We now have carts with wheels. So we kind of expand upon those gradually throughout time.
Yeah, so you think it's a gradual build-up to this, to consciousness?
I don't think it's I'm referring to imagination, not consciousness necessarily.
Right, okay.
In my perspective, consciousness is being aware of your surroundings, awake, and I don't want to use the word in the definition, but conscious.
But our imagination,
I think that's completely different. Imagination and innovation is separate.
But our imagination is our consciousness, because I know that they are two separate things. I know that they can be two separate things, but our consciousness is imagination to some degree. Do you know what I mean?
Our consciousness is required to have an imagination.
Yes, it's a vastly different imagination from any other organism on planet Earth. and before us, even the imagination of a Neanderthal, even the imagination of an early Homo sapien would be vastly different to what we have today. So is it just a product of evolution and building things up as they go? Or has there something been in the past been tampered with religiously, spiritually, scientifically to get us to this point? I believe it's one of those three that has got us to this point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my belief. I could be wrong, but it's just my belief.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But no, I personally believe that this all came about through evolution.
But Carrie King saying imagination is not consciousness, but imagination requires an advanced brain. But the advanced brain is the consciousness. This is what we're trying to say. To have this level of imagination that we do, you would need the form of consciousness that we have. Hence why I'm saying that to get us to this point in evolution, if you want to put it that way, something has happened in between that we don't know about. That's just, I just, even science, I know that even the most hard skeptic will say something has happened. We don't know what it is, but something has happened. And it's one in infinity. If you think of the planet, they say the universe is endless. It's one in infinity that would ever happen. Do you know what I mean? And that's basically enough proof for me to realize that there's been something has tampered. You would like to think it's religion because it's a nice thought that you go to an afterlife and there's more, and dreams mean stuff, and our imagination means stuff. But the fact that it is one in infinity in our universe tells me that there's been something's tampered with us religiously, spiritually, or scientifically.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now. I actually had no idea how long this was gonna take. I actually have a place to be.
No, I know
don't want to be rude and bail. I would absolutely love to continue this conversation at another date with both of you.
I know you said prior to this here that you had work, isn't it? Because of the time difference in America.
What time I gotta start getting ready for bed, and I just gotta run some errands before I go to sleep.
Right. Well, listen, guys, do me a favor. Holly,
if you guys want to keep talking, go right ahead.
No, we will. But Holly's channel and the Mass Detectives channel is in the comment section and the description of this video. Please go over and subscribe to both channels. The Scientology Geek. The Scientology, yeah. And listen, your channel's flying. You're doing it organically, and fair play to you. And I wish you nothing but the best luck. But listen, we'll come back and we'll actually debate some more about this because this is good.
Love to.
I like this, and you can maybe come prepared with I don't know, look into it a wee bit more and stuff, and that'll be great. Yeah. So peace, Holly.
Peace, everybody.
Hello. So guys, that was So Holly had the ditch. She did say to me before she could only really do a wee while, but it's interesting, mate. It is interesting, and I like to have Holly there because she does come from the opposite side of things, and it's good to have the opposite side of things because then that's where a real debate will happen. Would you agree?
Whatever floats your boat.
I think
my truth is my truth, and everyone else's truth is their truth.
But that's what we talked about before. We talked about, about everybody, what they believe is actually reality. I don't know.
But, the one thing is, right, I've done so much research on this. No one can deny that everything is energy. No one can deny that energy cannot be created and it can't be destroyed. But everyone will agree that it can be manipulated, and that energy is what is the cause of everything.
No, 100%. I think
show.
It's how you perceive that energy, though. It's how you perceive it, because I believe there's billions of people on planet Earth, that energy means something. That energy is going somewhere. Energy is created and it goes somewhere, right? And but it's the other side, maybe not the atheist side of things, but the sort of not even the mainstream side of things, but don't really believe in that. But they believe in the energy is real, but they don't believe that it goes anywhere. They don't believe it creates anything. But me and you would believe that creates stuff. And I stand by what I said there. By the way, I think that I definitely think civilization that humans have been tampered with in some way, shape, or form. Like, would you agree with it?
Now, so you can go into different angles with that one as well. That's why obviously I'm doing a topic tomorrow on my channel in regards to don't go to the light. It's my truth is that when you go to the light, whether it's a tunnel, whether Jesus comes to you or your mum or your pet or whatever, it's a trap to bring you back straight into this. This is the reincarnation point. Only by realizing exactly what you are. Think about it. I mean, if you have any sense that everything is energy and energy is what we are, then would that not be like how do you call it, factuals? We're pieces of that one, which is energy, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it could be that one, which is energy, which they call God, it is experiencing itself. Hence, being energy and having everything and being bored, if you like, maybe broke off like the Big Bang, yeah, and separated into matter because it's vibrating at different frequencies, different vibrations. Look, scientists have only just now created matter out of light. What is light? It's fucking energy. There you go. Even science has done it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's how people perceive that energy, though, and this goes back. This is where it gets really complicated because we do know about the atoms, and there's certain atoms how you perceive it, how it will react, and how it will behave. So if you perceive something to be a certain way, possibly is reality. I'm not saying that if you perceive something to this house to float, it's going to float, but I mean, it's a collection of energy, which you could say is a collection of consciousness that sort of brings things to reality, maybe like religion. That's why we talked about this before. If there's billions of people that actually believe in something, that energy that they have inside them can actually create that religion.
So do you believe you can create your own reality?
Well, yes, your dreams are a form of reality. It's okay. You might be sleeping, you might have your eyes closed, but you're creating your own reality, aren't you?
I mean, the physical.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. I
Right.
couldn't say.
What you'll find is that if you look at the atoms and go a little bit further to the quarks and a little bit further than that, you end up getting to space, yeah? Empty space. Empty space is what science calls energy, which is just consciousness that vibrates at different frequencies, at different vibrations, which then produces matter. Hence why from empty space you get a table. Because if you break the table down, the brick down, the fridge down, anything you break down, you always come to empty space. That empty space is what everyone refers to as consciousness. Now, if you believe in ghosts are just a form of us, but we're in a body. They're nothing more powerful, but that's why when people don't go within, they usually go outside of themselves and they start calling on devils, they start calling on angels, they start calling on this. But when we die, if you're of the mindset you have a consciousness, that's what you become. Call it photon, light, whatever. They proved in the Austrian experiment, they proved that photon actually has an intelligence, right? They also proved that it teleports itself. They also proved that it has a teleportation, and it also has there was something else they done an experiment.
But
anyway,
it's not so much teleportation. It is and it isn't. It's sort of like it doesn't have the consciousness to teleport itself. But if is that the particle where you look?
So basically what happened is they put a light, right? They put like a photon, if you like. They crushed it. Well, they tried to crush it. They can't, right? But it disappeared. Whatever experiment they'd done, it's in my book. They done an experiment and they actually thought they crushed it. It jumped 3 feet away. Every time they tried to block it out, or it was just jumping from 3 feet away from every angle. They just couldn't do it.
So in that sense, it would have to have some type of a knowing, a consciousness to sort of evade being crushed.
So what they're saying is, at the time of death, that may be, instant, whatever, your soul, consciousness, light, whatever you want to call it, moves out of your body at the exact time as the tragedy hits. At the exact time. It doesn't hang around. It knows. If you know you've got that system, fight or fight, in it. In your nervous system, you've got that.
So you link the two together then. In your opinion, you would link the two you would link them two things together then. The particles and the body itself. So for instance, like, look, you would say that. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, look, you've got spiritualists out there that want you to be in the clouds 24/7. Yeah. You have Christians out there that say, you smacked my face, I'll give you the other cheek, you can smack that one. Yeah. It's not about that. What people have to understand, we live in a world of duality. We have to live in a world of non-duality. So we live in a world of left and right, hot and cold, right? Up and down, as above, so below, as within, so without. We have to understand there is a balance which everyone leads out. And what is that balance? That balance is where you're meant to be. You're not meant to choose the right. You could call it a fence sitter, but you're not going to jump off the fence, because I know a lot of people, they sit there, it gets uncomfortable and they jump off. But we all have these trials in life where we fall off the fence a little bit to the left or to the right. But we're meant to stay in that middle path.
Or do what I do, just stay in the middle path and go, fuck you, I'm away. That's what I do. But it's sorry, I was just going to say it's getting a bit late. I was going to shut it off here anyway. But what we could do is, because these are the topics I like to talk about. And what I'll do is, I'll premiere something, and we'll actually just debate this and properly, because even though, okay, fair enough, people have their ideas and their opinions, but it's always good to have two sides of the equation, because if you don't, then you're never going to get to the truth. And I understand that you wholeheartedly believe it. You've got a lot of faith in the stuff that you write about. And maybe Holly's not an author, but she does come from that other side of things, where it's not a skeptic. She's not a skeptic. She just downright doesn't believe it at all. And it's good. That's good though.
But the trouble is, if everything is energy, that's what science calls it. Yeah, it cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. It can only be manipulated. Yeah. Tesla and Einstein is saying everything's energy. If you learn energy, frequency, and vibration, you're powerful, because you have the capability to manipulate the energy. Right.
But that is true. That's right.
Yeah, and that energy in ancient texts is your spirit or consciousness or light. That's when they start bringing all these words in and they start confusing you.
Well, speaking about energy, I need to nip off to the toilet for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've got something to no, I want to come back on. I want to stay on live here because there's something that I want to talk about. Normally I don't mention people's names. I don't get into shit. I don't really like that shit. But I'm going to talk about something here because I actually think it's that fucking crazy. There's a certain individual on YouTube talk about fucking energy and the manipulation of energy. This person's definitely doing it. So just give me a second. I'll be back in literally 30 seconds.
All right, cool. That's quick. Let me see what you lot are saying. Anything mentioned? Ghosts are old fears. Dissemble the catalysms between mind and body. Yep, Satgore. Yep, you come to my channel. Even though our universe is moving faster, though, space energy from our past is what moves it. Nobody's night energy exists. It's the explanation of energy. You can't explain. This is what I'm saying. If energy is at the absolute, how can you explain it? The moment you start explaining energy, it starts having defaults in it. It can't be absolute. That's why energy will answer any question. MD is talking about the narrow path. No, I'm talking about the straight path, not the narrow path. I don't know if that's the same. Narrow seems pretty daunting, you know.
Yo.
Yo.
So, who am I going to speak about? I'm actually going to say their name this time. I don't even like mention people's names. This is only going to take 5 minutes, right? So, you still there, Master Detective?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't watch this person's content. I don't hate this person. I'm going to talk about Anne Dragoin, right? But recently, people have been inboxing me on Instagram saying that Anne has been making videos, putting my sort of face on it or whatnot. I don't even want to know. But going by what other people have said, like honestly, I'm not. I wouldn't even. Not that I don't like Anne's content. I actually watch it. That's a lie. I actually do watch a few things that she's done. But if it's about myself and it's going to be a lie or something like that, she literally put a thumbnail up of Decca, me to the side, and Crime Scene Annie at the bottom, and two other people. I don't know who they were. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you trying to do here? And what is your play on YouTube? It doesn't bother me in the slightest, but it's like they're trying to implement me into it like a conspiracy theory. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the play here? Is it just, if it's just for YouTube and it's just for something to talk about, I totally understand that. But the people that were inboxing me on Instagram saying, look, this is what they talked about. I know none of the people. Talking about some person called Wheezy. I know none of these people. Right? I know there's Nick Williams in the comment section. I know Nick. I don't know his face. I just know him as a commenter. But I don't know any of the other people. I've spoke to Crime Scene Annie, done a podcast with him. I don't know him. I was in contact with him on Facebook. Haven't spoke to him in ages. It's like they're trying to make this scenario where there's a collaboration of people coming together, all speaking and talking, and she had Decca in the middle of the thumbnail. Like, I don't know, the way it looks, it's make it look like we're all working for Decca. I haven't spoke to Decca since Christmas, actually before Christmas. No, yeah, right. I don't know what the fuck's going on YouTube. Like, do you know much about Anne, Master Detective?
Look, I know it's a clown. She looks like a clown, or he looks like a clown, yeah. But listen, I got no beef with whatever anyone wants to be. Don't push it. See, the thing is, they push a narrative and then they hide behind their, other narrative, which is their gender or fucking whatever. Oh, he's being this, he's being that, to hide the fact that maybe they've said something wrong or they've gone a bit too, far off or whatever. But what you have to understand is they don't know you. So why do they need to talk about you? It's just assumptions, It's
I don't mind.
opinions.
Listen, I don't mind. I say, listen, criticize me. I don't even mind the whole criticizing part. I don't mind that. But it's like I'm not on Anne's radar. I'll tell you, I text Anne when I when I came on the YouTube. Says, do you want to come on the YouTube and talk about X, Y, and Z? She just says, no, I'm busy. Okay, fine. I'm not on Anne's radar. I'm not going down the same path as Anne. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand why the constant like putting me in scenarios. It's like I've got nothing to do with Decca. I've got nothing to do with Crime Scene Annie or these Wheezy characters apparently. We've got nothing to do with Nick Williams. Is in the live chat. I've spoke to Nick a few times on Instagram. So I don't understand where I fit into this. Like, I'm literally like a puzzle piece that doesn't go into the puzzle properly. So I don't know. I don't have a clue. I wish nobody any ill will. I don't wish Anne, any bad luck. I hope whatever. But I'm not the person you think I am. I'm not
Do you
involved
know
with
what?
anybody.
Just because of what they do, right? They vibrate at I don't know. You want to call it a low vibration, low consciousness, whatever. You will find they will generate their own demise without anyone doing it for them. So all you can do is wish them well, and farewell, and let them be the destruction of their own
There was
path.
another thing. She says that basically neo-Nazis were commenting on my live, or people that were affiliated. There were some group of people that were on Odyssey that are basically anti-Jew and anti-this. And like, I can't. This is a public platform. Whoever comes onto my live, if Hitler himself comes back from the dead and starts commenting on my live, that's got fuck all to do with me. Do you know what I mean? I can just say, all right, Hitler, okay, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean Soulway's commenting, Nick Williams is commenting. Doesn't mean I'm Nick Williams. Do you know what I mean?
But then you could flip it and say, but hold on a minute, you mention maps all the time.
Yeah.
Or you could say, what's all this with James Hind? And if you look into James Hind, you will know what he's about.
Listen, I'm not hating on anybody. This is the thing. I'm just asking a simple question. Why are you constantly... Why not have a dialogue with me and just send me a text and say, by the way, are you affiliated with these people? Yeah, I am. Because I'd be honest. No, I'm not. Just, you've got direct contact.
Do you know what? They should jump on. Anyone that's got a problem, if you've got the fucking balls, the cojones, to jump on, even if you ain't, jump on, and why don't you have a debate or a chat? I mean, I only say a debate because that's all they do. It seems like they just want to fight all the time.
Well, the thing, right? But Anne does it in a different way. She's not. It's not like she's not screaming at the screen or going mad or anything. Yeah, sort of like I actually find, I don't know what it is. It's like, I've seen one video where she says, look, he got involved with DECA, but there was many people duped by DECA. But then in the next video that she done, she put literally a thumbnail of DECA in the middle, like the queen bee, and then me on the right hand side, crime scene Annie at the bottom, making it look like we're connected to DECA. So I understand if that's for maybe the draw in views, that's fine. I would see if she said that, I'd be like, yeah, actually, yeah, totally understand that. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But anybody coming on here is not going to be, I'm not going to be ignorant or nasty to them. I'll just say, look, you're wrong. All I can say is, no, I'm not involved with these people. Debate over.
The thing is,
do you know what I mean?
See, you can be like, you could be ignorant and rude just in telling the truth. Like, there's no disrespect to you, but if you had someone come on, you would go around the houses trying to answer your own answer, like to try and explain your own answer, to try and not make it so much of a blow. But people have got to realize that if you're a cunt, I'm going to call you a cunt, innit? Don't get offended. Don't be a cunt then.
Yeah.
No, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go around the houses and do what religion does.
I think what it is because there's so many people. Anne's looking at so many people on YouTube in little tiny circles, and she's maybe been involved with people, maybe bigger YouTubers that were involved in some dark, seedy shit. So whenever I come along, right, with my small channel, who just likes to talk about consciousness and fucking apes smoking weed, I have no mad dark past. So, okay, maybe the people who she was involved with all have dark, nasty, dirty, seedy pasts. And maybe she's looking at this from an outsider's point of view that everybody's like this. But just because I once was on DECA's channel twice and he came onto my channel doesn't mean that I'm involved with that person. Do you know what I mean? It's like what where's the play? Just take me for who I am. Send me a text message.
Look,
Come on to my channel and have a chat. Talk to me, and you'll
people
find out who I am. Do you know what I mean?
people that do that stuff, right? Have got broken consciousness. They've got broken souls.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's broken, mate. Something's broken, but I'm not broken. Well, I'm broken a little bit, but I'll tell you what, I don't hate on anybody. I don't hate on Anne. I wish Anne nothing but the best of luck. But who she thinks I am is totally incorrect, and that's all I can say. I can't prove. I can't like put her in my head and say, there you go, look, I'm not that person you think I am. If she's going to think I'm this person, what can I do? Do you know what I mean? I find it strange. I find it weird behavior, and that is what it is. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably going to end it in that note, guys. Listen, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, Holly and the Masked Detective. It was a good debate tonight, and peace. Oh, here, listen, if you want, please jump over to the Masked Detectives and Holly's channel. It's in the comment section and the description of this video. Go over, both links are there. Subscribe to both channels, and do me that favor, guys. Peace.